We don't take credit for it, mostly I think because it's been suppressed. But South Carolina was really paramount in many of the major decisions that impact our lives. If we start with, say, Briggs versus Elliott, everybody knows about Brown versus Board of Education, but few people understand that the major arguments in that group of cases presented to the Supreme Court were derived from the experiences of the people in Clarendon County. Briggs v. Elliott should have been the lead case in Brown versus Board of Education. Nobody talks about Edwards versus South Carolina. That's the case of students in, what was it, 1961, protesting at the State House. And one of them was James Edwards. Well, that case was found in Edwards's favor and is the definitive case which allows the right of peaceful assembly for protesters across the country. It's just amazing to me how little we know about our own history and how little we know about the roles we and these people in our midst have played. If you recall the photo of the lawyers, Thurgood Marshall and others standing on the steps of the Supreme Court, right behind Marshall was Harold Boulware. Harold Boulware was a local Columbia lawyer, but he was so instrumental in all of those early NAACP challenges, and nobody knows his name. It's sort of frustrating to me that we don't honor these legendary heroes and heroines who really affected change. But I hope that one of the things you got out of watching this particular production is the fact, the breadth of Modjeska's involvement in so many organizations and causes, not just locally or regionally, but nationally. And the correspondences that she had with people like Herbert Aptheker, but also with Howard Thurman. I don't know if you are aware of who Howard Thurman is. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let Brett pull it up, or Bob pull it up for another course. But Howard Thurman was an amazing minister with whom Modjeska maintained an active correspondence all her life. The other thing is, she wasn't just some dumb little lady out there. She was a true student her entire life. I mean, when she tells you she was a student of ancient history, or she's a student of religion, or she's a student of sociology, she was. She also was a lover of poetry and fine literature. And her one unfulfilled dream was to have one day visited Europe. But she never got to do that. But she did try to impact others' lives. There are many things that were on the cutting room floor, as it were, things that she was involved in when we look at the Orangeburg Massacre, for example, and other things of that ilk. It's just, you can only put so much in an hour. The bottom line is Modjeska didn't have to do any of this. Her husband was an independent businessman, and he owned several businesses. I mean, he had liquor stores, he had service stations, they had a hotel or motel out on the edges of the city, which was profitable because, of course, Blacks, entertainers, and others who came couldn't stay in the white hotels, so they could stay in the Simbek Hotel. People like, of course, you know that Thurgood Marshall and others would come to Columbia and they would stay back there in the dependency if they didn't stay in the house itself with Modjeska. But she was serious when she talked about the fact that much of the strategies of these movements was planned around her dining room table. And she was very vocal and very involved, sometimes a whole lot more than the men who get credit for having been out there on the front lines.